The night the boundary stones disappeared, the village fell into a silence no one could explain. In Umode village, land was not measured by ropes or papers. It was measured by memory, by the graves beneath the soil, by the trees planted by grandfathers, and by the footpaths worn by generations. So when the stones marking the Okeke family land vanished, people felt it in their bones. Something was wrong, and before sunrise, whispers had begun. The Okeke land lay beyond a stream, where tall grass moved with the wind. The soil there was dark and rich. Yams grew large, cassava swelled strong, and even in dry seasons, the earth held moisture. That land had fed the Okeke family for generations. It did not belong to one man. It belonged to the past, the present, and the unborn. After their father died, the land was left in the care of his two sons. Obioma, the elder brother, was calm and fair. Chike, the younger, was clever and ambitious. At first, they walked side by side. They cleared weeds together, shared harvests, and solved problems peacefully. Villagers praised them, saying their father rested well because his sons had kept unity. But unity can crack quietly long before it breaks. The first sign of change came with the road. Surveyors arrived from the city and placed markings across distant lands. Soon, rumors spread that a tarred road would pass near Umode. Traders began to talk about rising land value, and strangers appeared asking careful questions. Chike listened. He listened when traders spoke about wealth. He listened when travelers described life in the city. He listened when someone said that land near a new road becomes gold. Slowly, a seed of desire grew in his heart. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the palms, Chike spoke. He asked his brother if he had ever thought about improving their lives. Obioma stirred the cooking pot and replied that their lives were already full. Chike insisted they could build better houses, send children to better schools, and open a shop in town. Obioma nodded and said all good things come with patience. Chike said no more, but patience had never lived comfortably in his heart. Weeks passed, and Chike traveled to town more often. He returned with stories of opportunity. He spoke of investors and development. He painted pictures of a future brighter than firelight. Obioma listened but remained cautious. He warned that land is not cloth, and one cannot sell it today and buy it back tomorrow. Chike smiled, but inside, his decision was forming. One afternoon, while Obioma walked in the far field, a vehicle arrived near the stream. Dust rose behind it. Two men stepped out wearing polished shoes that sank into the red soil. They walked the land slowly, pointing and nodding. Chike walked beside them. His voice was low and his laughter forced. When they left, the dust settled, but something had changed. 3 market days later, the boundary stones disappeared. By evening, strangers returned with tools and began clearing a wide path through the Okeke land. Villagers gathered quietly, murmuring in confusion. Obioma arrived and stopped at the edge of the clearing. He asked who gave permission, but no one answered. At last, an old farmer spoke and said they were told the land had been sold. The words struck like thunder. Obioma turned slowly toward his brother, but Chike avoided his eyes. The elders gathered beneath the great Iroko tree. The air felt heavy. The chief elder spoke slowly, saying land is not sold without family consent. He looked at Chike and asked if it was true. Chike cleared his throat and said he sold only a portion, insisting the village needed development and the money would benefit everyone. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Obioma's voice trembled as he asked how his brother could sell their father's land without telling him. Chike's jaw tightened as he replied that he did what was necessary. Silence fell, and even the wind seemed to withdraw. That night, Obioma sat beneath the old mango tree their father had planted. He pressed his hand against the trunk as memories returned, laughter, planting seasons, and their father's voice saying that land is the only wealth that remembers your name. Now strangers would walk that soil, and his own brother had allowed it. Construction began within days. Machines roared louder than any sound Umode had ever known. Trees fell, earth was torn open, and dust covered nearby farms. The money came quickly. Chike repaired his roof, bought new furniture, and walked with pride. But the village did not celebrate. Women whispered at the stream, men spoke in low voices, and children stopped playing near the road. Obioma grew quieter with each passing day. Then the rains came, heavy and relentless. Water rushed through the cleared land, forming deep gullies. Mud swallowed nearby crops. The new buildings cracked before they were completed. Workers left, and the investors never returned. Soon misfortune entered Chike's home. His new roof began to leak. His stored grains spoiled. Termites invaded his compound. His goats disappeared. Sleep abandoned him. Each night rain struck the roof like distant drums, and beneath the sound he felt a heavy truth pressing on his heart. A wrong cannot be buried. One evening an old woman stopped him along the path and spoke softly. She asked him that when a man sells the ground that holds his father's footsteps, where will his own footsteps rest? Chike tried to speak, but no words came. She walked away, and her question followed him home. By the next planting season, the investors were gone. The land lay scarred and empty. The money had vanished. Chike stood at the edge of the ruined field and understood for the first time that wealth taken without unity carries no blessing. At the next village gathering, he stepped forward. His voice shook as he confessed that he had brought shame to his father's name. He admitted he chose money over memory, progress over unity, and pride over wisdom. Turning to Obioma, he said he had not only sold land, but had sold trust. Silence covered the crowd, not with anger, but with truth. The chief elder rose and said what is broken must be rebuilt, not with money, but with humility. Chike surrendered what remained of his wealth and labored beside neighbors whose farms were damaged. He walked the soil with quiet hands. Seasons passed, grass returned, new crops grew, the village healed, and Chike learned that wealth is not counted in coins, but in unity. Years later, children played again near the restored boundary stones. When they asked about the scarred land near the stream, elders told them there was a time a man sold what belonged to generations. He gained money, but lost peace. Then they added that land remembers who honors it, and it remembers who betrays it. Wealth gained through betrayal brings no peace. What we inherit is not ours to destroy, but ours to protect.
If this story spoke to you, remember to like, subscribe, and share it. More timeless stories await.